Building decks in Hearthstone is one of the most important skills to learn and will influence your win rate significantly. Here are 7 questions to ask yourself as you construct your own decks. Let's get started. Question 1. How do I want to win? The first thing to think about when building a deck of your own is your win condition. Hearthstone is a game about winning, so build your deck around that goal. Are you going to rush them? Control the board and slowly whittle them down? Maybe you want to draw all of your cards until you get the few that you need to instantly kill your opponent in one turn. This win condition should be very general. Start off by constructing decks that have just one before experimenting with multi-win condition decks. Question 2. How do I get to that win condition? Now that we know how we want to win, we need to plan how to get there. The mark of a solid deck is one that has many paths leading to the same place, because in most games, you will not draw your entire deck. Also, be sure to ask yourself what advantage your deck excels with: card advantage, board control, or health sustain. Remember, we haven't even started building the deck yet. All of this can be done without even starting up Hearthstone. Question 3. What are the tools at my disposal? Now we can open Hearthstone and check all of the cards that are available to us. Notice that you can only have 30 cards in a single deck, so choose your cards carefully. Not everyone has every card, so it can be difficult to go online and pick out a deck that you like. Focus on the cards that you own and pull out certain cards that help you reach that win condition. Also, choosing a class that synergizes well with that win condition is paramount, not just for the hero power, but for the class-specific cards. Here, we are filtering out which cards will be useful and which cards won't. This process narrows down the bank of available cards when choosing those 30 cards for our deck. Question 4. What can my opponent do? This is where all of your prior experience comes into play. Is your deck viable in the current metagame? Are there a high percentage of people playing a style that's really good against yours? Knowing about what decks are commonly being used at the time can be instrumental in making a deck that is successful. Try and figure out ways in which other players can work around your strategy. You may have to dedicate several cards to act as barriers to stop your opponents from exploiting a weakness in your deck. For example, most decks cannot handle large board presence from an opponent, so they hold a few AoE spells to deal with that at specific turns, i.e. Flame Strike or Lightning Storm. Think about cards from other classes that might interfere with your strategy and look for possible contingencies. Question 5. What specific combos am I looking for? Hearthstone is very reliant on combos. No single card will win you the game. Oftentimes, it is the placement of many cards together that brings you to your win condition, so study your cards and see what cards work well with others. Watching streams and reading the class forums will also help you build up that bank of combos before you even need to use them. Question 6. What about my mana curve? This step is a final check before using your deck in play mode. Because it's not entirely important to have a perfect mana curve of an upside down parabola, as long as there are a healthy number of options for each turn, it's okay if your curve looks like a roller coaster. What's important here is that you have cards to play at each turn that lead to a win condition. Question 7. What works and what doesn't work? You're finally ready to put your deck to the test. Play a few games. Observe and make notes on what worked and what didn't work. What cards are essential to start with, and when should you get rid of your entire starting hand? Which cards were indeed useful, and which ones seemed good theoretically, but you just never used? Test and revise as needed, until your deck breaches that win condition a good % of the time against many different classes. You'll begin to see patterns that occur that will inspire change. Feel out your games, and if you're not having fun, then try something new. Play against your friends and ask them for feedback. Nothing is more constructive than getting together with other players to discuss a new deck. And remember, as you rank up, you'll face against other decks that have already gone through this process, so this step will continue all the way until Legend rank and beyond. You may even need to change decks entirely to match the tendencies of the players that you will be playing against. Keep these 7 questions in mind when building your deck, and many issues will be solved even before you start playing the game. Half of Hearthstone is about building your deck, so get good at it, and learn to understand why a deck works rather than simply playing it because you found it online or someone else told you that it was good. My name is Start Now, and thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and comment below on any other tips on making a Hearthstone deck. I'll see you guys on the ladder, so keep it real. Till next time.